How's everybody doing? I'm actually heading home from a trip to Norfolk, Virginia. About a 4.5 hour ride from my house. Had a couple of my abstract paintings in a women's national art show. So I went up Friday, and the show was, the reception was that night for a couple hours. And now it's Saturday. I spent the night at a nice hotel, and on the way home, about halfway home, here in beautiful Virginia, Northern Virginia. It's gorgeous. Let's see if I can get any. Listening to my Red Hot Chili Peppers jamming. Been in a bout of depression for I guess last couple weeks, and my husband's been acting like he has dementia, like early, or not early, but mild, sometimes moderate, and this has been going on for years, but anyhow, so I was in a little bit of a funk, so it felt good to get out of town and do this and just kind of take a break from my norm. And usually I'm in chronic pain and normally wouldn't be able to handle a trip like this, but it's a new nerve pain I started about 6 months ago. I'm like, you know what, I think I can do this trip as long as I stop every couple hours and get out of the car and take a break. So I'm real proud of myself for doing this, because my chronic pain has been holding me back from having a eventful, adventurous life that I enjoy. So this is pretty cool. Another view of the pretty mountains. Beautiful, beautiful. Anyhow, so when I was at the hotel last night, I just had a really hard time falling asleep. I should have fallen right asleep, but I didn't. It was just like tossing and turning. It's probably for at least an hour trying to just fall asleep, even though I was exhausted. It really sucks. But during that time, I started reflecting on some things, not intentionally. It just kind of hit me, and that is an epiphany I had about how much I wanted the love of my dad, who could be either really nice and generous and fun to be with, or the flip side, violent and very, very, very mentally abusive. And that's the environment I grew up in. And the thing is, in spite of how much he hurt me physically and psychologically and emotionally, I still just wanted his love. I wanted him to love me unconditionally. So anytime he was in a good way and things were good, no matter how brief, I felt great. I felt safe. I felt secure. I felt like, okay, things will turn around. And then he would just do something to betray my trust again and again and again over the years. But regardless, I still wanted his attention so bad. And I'm blonde, by the way. Just wanted to change things up. I like to reinvent myself. So anyhow, so my epiphany was, I've been with my husband for we've been married like 36 years, and been together for several years before that, so probably about 40 years together. And I was faithful to him the whole time up until I think it was about 7 years ago. Medications he was on really altered his personality from his heart transplant to the point where I just couldn't be with him anymore. He had changed so much over the course of many years and of the medications he was on, to the point where I felt like I was living with a stranger. But more importantly, is what I felt like was that he didn't love me. I felt like he just didn't love me anymore. And I'm driving and I got a gear shift, so multitasking here. It broke my heart. I mean, it tore me up when I felt like my wonderful husband of all these years just didn't love me anymore. And it felt that way for years, but I couldn't do it anymore. So we separated. Well, I separated. I told him I'm moving out. So it was about a little over 4 month separation period. I mean, I filed for divorce and everything. I mean, we went through divorce proceedings. But I'll talk about that another time. We're still married. We're still together. We ended up having the divorce, I guess, nullified is the word for it, so that it just never happened legally. But my point is, when we were separated, I didn't give a shit about myself anymore, and I just let all my inhibitions down, on my morals, on my ethics. I didn't give a flying fuck. Did what I wanted, which was mostly sex and drugs. Well, not really drugs. Yeah, I smoked a lot of weed during that time, but because of one of the guys I was hooking up with, had a relationship with briefly. But it was the sex. I wanted sex. I wanted the attention of a man. And okay, so the point I'm trying to make is, in retrospect, I was finding myself attracted mostly to, and I'd done this in the past sometimes before we were married, was men who were bad boys. I'm attracted to the bad boy, and I've never ever was with anybody that hit me or did anything like that, but I do find myself attracted to men that have that bad boy side, that bad boy in them, because of the excitement of it. And then I would want to find that soft side to them. And regardless of, even if that meant there were times where a man could be disrespectful to me. I mean, I draw the line at anybody being physically abusive to me. I have a zero tolerance for that. But the mental abuse was there, and then it would be their nice side again. So there's that pattern, like with my dad. Get it? There's that pattern, and I realized that, and I was like, fuck. So that's when I had that epiphany that that's how my dad treated me, was with being nice and then being mean, and then being nice and then being mean. And so you get confused, like, well, you know, it is confusing. So I was tying all that together. My husband is nothing like that. My husband is a very nice person. We've had some ups and downs over the years. Whoa, this rock just hit my windshield. But normal relationship stuff. But for us, nothing significant other than, of course, the separation was major. But just had dawned on me when we separated, yeah, I was flocking to that pattern. So females that are traumatized as children, and this is in their forms of life where they're being molded and developing mentally and physically and emotionally, to have in my case, okay, I'm talking about females, father relationships, that there was no sexual abuse or relationship or anything like that, but he was again, the violence and the mental and psychological abuse. And sorry, it's starting to rain now. Had to get my windshield wipers on. This is bullshit. It's been raining, it's been snowing, and the sun's been out. Fucking crazy, man. So here's that pattern of, okay, of the male being mean to me at times, and then being nice to me at times, and then because when they're nice, they're so nice. So that's how my dad was, that's how this man was that I fell in love with when my husband and I got separated, and I had this relationship with this man. Even though I was letting my morals and ethics hit rock bottom and knew there were things about him that, you know, under normal circumstances, yeah, I would hook up with the guy, but that'd be it. It wouldn't be any emotional relationship. But that's how little I cared about myself. I was willing to just let all my morals and my ethics out the window to be with this man who led me on a roller coaster of feeling loved and admired and really passionate relationship. But then he'd treat me like shit and be just very disrespectful to me. So, and that went on for, I think it was about maybe 2.5 months tops. And I allowed myself to be in that situation. The bottom line is, that's on me, okay? But I recognize that pattern where with my dad was that element. And that's the effect it can have on a young person's mind. You know, anybody at any age it can have a negative effect on, but when you're a child, when you're an adolescent, and you grow up in that environment your whole minor life, it leaves a deep impression. It's a pattern. It's hardwiring. It's what you're exposed to. It's what you're used to. It's what you seek. It's what you expect. So that's why a lot of times females, women, young ladies will, damn, it's raining again, find men that are bad for them. I'm switching my hands a lot because I'm having to shift my gears and turn my wipers on and just deal with it, man. That are bad to them, but sweep them off their feet with their soft side and their good side, but yet they're still really bad for them. And that's because of what they grew up with. That's the pattern that was in their household. And so it's like that deep-seated, still seeking approval, still seeking love, still seeking a relationship with the male figure that you love, or that you want to love, or that you want to be loved by. And it's hard to obtain, and it's like, yeah, but when things are good, they're really, really good. So I'll deal with the times that are bad only because the times that are good are so fucking good. But the point is, you should never have to make that trade-off. I'm not talking about your normal ups and downs in a relationship. I'm talking about really, really bad things. Being with someone that's abusive. Even if they're abusive sporadically and periodically, you know it's just going to get worse, because the longer you're with them, they do it for longer periods to see how much they can fucking get away with. So, all you women out there, you really need to understand your self-worth is way more than you think it is. For those of you who allow yourself to succumb to these patterns of men, motherfucking asshole men, that take advantage of women that have the chinks, they find the chinks in our armors, what they do. They prey on women's weaknesses. That is not a man. That is a motherfucking asshole that doesn't deserve a relationship with anybody because they're a bully. Okay, get it? Get what I'm saying? That was like my dad. That was my dad's behavior. And there goes the reins off again. Turn the windshield wipers back off. So there you go. There's the pattern. So don't let what your rotten, fucked up childhood did to you to ruin your adulthood, to dictate that. And what I'm learning is that you can just love yourself for who you are, and you don't need a fucking man to complete yourself. Now, I happen to have a wonderful husband who's, you know, got some of his issues, but not anything that's abusive to our relationship. This is just some mental health things he's going through with dementia. But my point is, don't settle, okay? Just take care of you. And if that means no man in your life, I mean, God's there, you know. If you believe in God, because I do, and Jesus Christ, they are the men in your life. They are your fathers. They are your Lord. And if you don't believe in God, Jesus Christ, that's fine too. Whatever your faith system is, whatever belief you might have, if there's an element there, whether it's a father figure type of element, just something, positivity in your life, use that as that element of love and support. I am an extremely passionate woman. I love being very close to a man. Public affection, I'm not shy about. I don't mean anything gross like groping and that kind of shit, but holding hands or kisses, stuff like that, arms around each other. I love that. You know, I don't give a shit what people think. So I miss that in my life because of my husband's dementia. His emotions have gone flat, so we lack that. Passion is gone, and I had a hard time struggling, and so still sometimes do with that. But I told myself, you know, the pleasures of the flesh aren't everything, and it's not even about the sex. It's about the bond and the closeness. And so I've had to adjust my lifestyle and my desires and just cling on to my faith and what I still have. Don't sell yourself short. Don't let the lack of love and respect and compassion and empathy from your Father. Don't let that fuck you up. Don't let that dictate your life. Lord knows I have in many ways. But that was my epiphany, can't even speak, was that understanding and recognizing how much I wanted the love and affection from someone who yet still could be so cruel to me. So just be careful out there. And as always, keep the peace. Keep it here. Don't just say it. Feel.